Okay, a very good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Today's topic is related to generative AI. I will start with the very basic concepts. So I'm not assuming any background, but specifically I'll be talking about the services that are provided by Alibaba Cloud. Now this session is in collaboration with the SCCC together, who are our partner. So it's a joint venture from Alibaba and the SCCC.
Sorry, could you give us what SCCC stands for?
Okay, this is our joint partner, Saudi Cloud Computing Company. Yeah. So it's in coordination with them, and SCCC is basically having a joint venture with Alibaba Cloud in Saudi Arabia. Mostly. Please, if you have any kind of question, you can stop me and I'll try to answer it. So the agenda is pretty simple. I'll start with the fundamentals of the cloud computing, then the overview, and why cloud computing is needed for AI, what are the benefits, and then a very specific case of Alibaba Cloud Model Studio. This is one of our services that we provide. So I'll give you some demos and later on you can have question and answer, but please feel free to ask me. If you have any question, you can stop me. Okay, so the first question from my side, what comes to your mind when you hear about Alibaba Cloud? Some of the answers are here. Orange, shopping online, yeah, affordable service cloud provider. What comes to your mind when you hear about Alibaba Cloud? The first thing that comes to your mind.
Orange.
Orange, that's our logo color, yes. Sorry, yeah, shopping online. Then, yeah, you mentioned something? Cloud computing, yes.
Chatbots.
Chatbots? Chatbots.
Chat.
Yeah. So, certifications? Yeah, good. So all these questions, answers are relevant. Why? Because Alibaba started in 1999 as an e-commerce company. So it started as an e-commerce company in 1999, but after 10 years, meaning 2009, Alibaba Cloud also started its cloud computing. So starting with an e-commerce, then ending up with the business of the cloud computing is natural. It's not by accident, it's natural. Because e-commerce need a lot of resources. Okay, by the way, what are the challenges in e-commerce industry? Why e-commerce industry is different than a normal industry? And why cloud computing started with the e-commerce? This is also one of the questions people ask. What is the difference between e-commerce and cloud computing? So my simple answer in that case is cloud computing came into existence because of the e-commerce. So now my question is this: what is special in e-commerce that give birth to the cloud computing?
Could you simplify the question, please?
Should I repeat the question?
Yes, or simplify it.
Yeah, so my question is this, that cloud computing came into existence because of the e-commerce. So what is special in e-commerce that needed cloud computing these days? Because it's a need, yes. Yeah, it's a good answer. Scalability. Cloud e-commerce need a lot of scalable resources. For example, if there is an e-commerce company, and let's say Eid al-Fitr is, let's say, coming, and you start giving discount, so what will happen? The number of users will jump to a very huge level, maybe 10 times the normal users. Now, how to accommodate a traffic on a website which is 10 times more than the normal, or maybe 100 times more than the normal? You have to purchase the hardware. Now, is it good to purchase the hardware, more hardware, just for 2 or 3 days? That's not good. So cloud computing came to meet those kind of needs. Why? Because let me define the cloud computing. Okay, anyone who can define the cloud computing by yourself first, then I'll go to this part. What's cloud computing? Yes, please.
Maybe cloud computing, we use it to store our data
Mm-hmm.
as standardized
Manner, yes,
ways.
exactly.
For example, in AI, maybe we can use cloud to train our models because sometimes we need lack of resources and we can't buy all of these resources.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, very good answer. In fact, you are one step ahead of me because my next, after maybe 2-3 slides, I'll find the relationship between the two, which you already answered. Yes. So, as she mentioned, the first thing we mentioned is scalability, and we need resources for short term. Now, if we need hardware resources for short term, the cloud computing came into existence, and this is how I'll define the cloud computing. There are many fancy definitions, but to me, cloud computing is renting hardware resources over the internet. It's like renting a car. Okay, have you used Kareem? I think everybody will be using Kareem here. What is the similarity between Kareem and cloud computing? Sharing?
Like hardware or cars or
Something like that, yes. Okay, in Kareem, who is the owner of the car? If I'm using Kareem, am I own the car? Do I own the car? No. Who owns the cars? The driver. And how I access the driver? Through the internet. So through the internet, somebody has a car. I need the car. I don't need to purchase it. I take my mobile phone, connect to the internet, and ask for the car, and he comes and he serves me. And I pay for the mileage. If I go to, let's say, from here to Makkah, I'll have to pay more rather than if I'm inside the Riyadh. Now, in case of Kareem, now what similarity between Kareem and cloud computing? So replace the car with the hardware. Right? So if you need hardware, you don't need to purchase it. The same like when you need a car, you don't need to purchase in case of Kareem. Who owns the car? The owner of the car. In cloud computing, who owns the hardware? Alibaba Cloud owns the hardware. So we have 2 data centers in Saudi Arabia. What does it mean? It means like we have 2 places where we have many cars, right? Meaning a lot of hardware available. And how you can access that hardware? Through the internet. So in simple words, keep that in mind. In simple words, cloud computing is renting computers, hardware, storage. She mentioned storage, but it can be computer, it can be storage, it can be databases, it can be a lot of other resources. So you just go to Alibaba Cloud through internet, purchase the resource, and the beauty is that when you want to use the resource, you will be charged. Like the same way, when you use Kareem, you are charged for that time. Once you complete the drive, the driver is gone, you don't need to pay. So you pay for the usage. Same thing happens in Alibaba Cloud or in any cloud generally. You pay only for the usage. We call it pay as you go. So sometimes you will see this word, pay, P-A-Y-G, pay as you go. Meaning you will only pay for the hardware that you have used for the duration of the time. So what is the beauty? No need to purchase the hardware, access it toward the internet, and pay only for the usage. This is a big shift in the IT industry. Why it's a big shift? The big shift is because the hardware become like electricity and water. When you consume electricity, you are billed for the consumption. Hardware become a utility. It become a disposable item. So on the cloud, when I need a hardware, I just go and purchase. When I don't need, just turn it off. Is this clear now?
Yes.
So what I showed you, e-commerce industry came because of the internet. And because of the e-commerce came the cloud computing. And please, one point is important to me. This is my personal opinion. Maybe you agree with it. Technologies evolve. Technology is not something that comes all of a sudden. It doesn't come from the sky like, like a word, right? It's not like that. Usually, one technology support another, and when multiple technologies start up supporting each other, they keep on growing. So today, if you see AI, artificial intelligence, it is supported by the internet, it is supported by the cloud computing. How internet supported? Because cloud computing is purchasing hardware resources on the internet. Another way internet support AI is the data. How we generate the data? Even when I'm standing here, I'm generating a lot of data. You can see the microphone attached to me. Through this microphone, I'm transmitting my voice. There are videos. They're recording me and you. So we are generating a lot of data, and their data come usually from the internet. They can come from the Facebook, they can come from the Twitter, they can come from any other resource, other platforms. So internet is supporting the cloud computing, and then cloud computing and it together, they are supporting the AI. Any question, any comment on this? So what are the advantages of cloud computing? The advantages of cloud computing, I'll be a bit quick here. These are the advantages. You don't need to pay upfront cost because you don't need to purchase the hardware. Go global. Now, what does it mean, go global? Go global means like Alibaba Cloud has 2 data centers in Saudi Arabia. We also have data centers in Dubai. We have data centers in the United States. We have data centers in Germany, Singapore, and Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and some other countries. With one click, you can select hardware in Saudi Arabia, and with a different click, you can select hardware in the United States. So you can go global. Sitting here, if you have the internet, I can purchase a hardware in Saudi Arabia because we have data center in Saudi Arabia too. But we can also use internet sitting here to configure hardware in the Saudi Arabia in the United States. So from a business perspective, you can go global with few clicks. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So think of it like a company having cars in United States, car in Saudi Arabia, and everywhere. So you can book a car in Saudi Arabia, and you can also book a car in the United States. Think of it there. Scalability, because hardware is a disposable item. You can create and you can destroy without any problem. Pay as you go, you only pay for the usage. Zero maintenance. Who is maintaining the car in the Kareem? The owner. He has to go and change the oil. He has to take care of the brakes. Same goes here. When we provide data centers need electricity, it needs cooling, it needs security. So a lot of things that are to be done. Those maintenance is done by us, not by the people. Easy configuration, just with a few clicks, you can do that. And hardware become a utility. You don't need to purchase it. So my next question is, what is artificial intelligence? Okay, before that, what is human intelligence? Because artificial is artificial, right? Opposite of it is human intelligence. So before understanding human intelligence, why not we think about before understanding artificial intelligence, why not we think about the human intelligence? So how can we define human intelligence?
It is the capability of using.
Exactly. So it is the cognitive ability that is God gifted. Allah has given us the ability, all the humans, to think, to perceive, to understand. And then through that knowledge, we can predict something. That is our experience, right? So we learn from experience. And how we learn? We have eyes, we have ears, we have hands, so we can touch, we have senses. We can hear, we can see. Through that, we collect the knowledge. And interestingly, human knowledge is different. Our intelligence is different. So for example, I may not be as good as you in many areas, but probably there may be an area where I may be better than someone else. Now, that's the human intelligence, right? Perception, understanding, right? And then reasoning, and also prediction, some part of the intelligence. If we bring any kind of those properties or characteristics of the humans into the computer, we call it artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is copying the cognitive intelligence abilities of the human beings into the computers. If any part of it we copy, we say it's an AI. Is it clear? Any question on this? Then there are other terms like we call machine learning. People don't differentiate between them. Usually they will say artificial intelligence and machine learning. But there is a subtle difference between the two. Anyone who can differentiate between these two?
I think there is two things in under machine learning:
Mhm.
supervised learning and unsupervised.
Yeah. And then there are other, like these days we have semi-supervised learning, and we also have what we call reinforcement learning. Yeah, these are the learning techniques. We call them learning algorithms or learning techniques: supervised, unsupervised reinforcement, and semi-supervised learning. But here, I want to differentiate between AI and machine learning. So the difference is this: any capability of the humans intelligence, if you bring it into the AI, into the computer, is AI. It's a very broad term. But machine learning is a sub-case of AI, where the computers learn from the data. You give the data to the computers, the program runs, and without explicit programming, the computer can learn. So in simple words, machine learning is a sub-case of AI, where the intelligence is derived from the data itself. And machine learning is popular because data is huge these days. So because of the huge amount of data that is coming from the internet, Facebook, here and there, now AI has a subfield which we call machine learning. So in simple words, machine learning is data-driven. It derives insights from the data. You can think of data like the ears, the eyes, the senses of the computers. So the fuel of machine learning is data. Okay, so that's why we say that we train a model. You use the word training the model, right? So they're training the model, training the computer from the data is known as machine learning, and then we use it for prediction. So the purpose is to predict something. Why we use this artificial intelligence? To learn from the data and then predict. So for example, if you have, let's say, a lot of data from the Hajj images. Now in the Hajj, there are millions of people. But if you make a machine to learn from it, then you can give it an image and it can give you a count. Okay, this much, in this picture, there are this much people. So it can predict from that. Similarly, there are stock exchanges. Prices can vary in for the stock in the stock exchange. If you take, let's say, 50 years data, you give it to a computer, and if the computer using machine learning, if it learns from it, so what will happen? You can use it for prediction, to predict the stock maybe for tomorrow. So the main purpose of machine learning is to predict. But recently, after 2020, what happened? After 2020, machines or computer started generating the data also. We call it generative AI, like GPT. GPT is not like something for prediction. It's also generating the data. You can ask questions from the GPT. It will answer the question. So that is known as generative AI. So we need to have the difference between AI, any capability of the human intelligence into the computer. When it comes data-driven, we call it machine learning. And these days we have generative AI, which is computers are not only doing predictions, but they are also generating data. Like they can generate text, they can generate videos and audios as well. Okay, so this is the definition. I am not going to the formal definition, but I think you can differentiate now. Where can we use it? So there are multiple ways in which we can use AI. For example, we can use it in healthcare, education, logistics, manufacturing, urban transportation. AI give you tools. Data is everywhere. So wherever there is a data, you can use AI. Whether it's related to the healthcare, whether it's related to the logistics, or business like finance, banking, insurance, anything. So once you have the data, huge amount of data, you can use these techniques. These are tools, right? Can be applicable to all areas. Can anyone give me an example of healthcare, how we can use AI in the healthcare?
In diagnosis.
Yes, in the diagnosis. So for example, you can take MRI or X-rays. And if there is a computer program which is trained on those data, you can give it and it can show you whether this person has a COVID or not, or whether this MRI has a tumor or it's benign. So those kind of information. Sorry?
Choosing feed or liquid.
Yes, that can be done. Even, yes, some kind of drugs can be, like generated or can be recommended on there. So it can be diagnosis to support the medical doctors, or it can be predictions.
Not AI fit to this human being. This for this kind of need, it's better than that.
Yeah, this personal recommendations can also be given. This is the same problem like if you are watching Netflix, you get the recommendation, or if you are using Facebook, you get a recommendation. Why? Because the system learned that how you behave. There is a research, I usually mention this. It says that if you, let's say, do some likes, maybe 20, I don't remember the number, but for example, 20 likes on the Facebook, Facebook knows you better than your friend. And if you like something, let's say 50 times you like different things on the Facebook, Facebook knows you better than your spouse, than your wife, right? So all those your clicks are recorded. Right? Your browsing time, all are recorded. So based on that, the personal profiling and all that can be done. Anyways, there are a lot of, anywhere you have data and you need predictions, you can use AI for it in simple words. Okay, so what is the key characteristic of machine learning?
Learning from patterns.
Finding patterns, yes. But I have mentioned some answers here. Which one should be the best one? So basically, these, yeah, you are right. They are finding patterns in the data without being explicitly programmed, yes. But in these specific cases, what should be the answer? Sorry? C? Yeah, so C is enable machine to learn and improve from the data without being, yeah, so the answer is C, correct. How about this one? What do you think will not be an application of the machine learning and AI in general?
C.
Again, C, yeah. So yeah, that's correct. Now, my next topic is where can we fit AI? How can we relate AI and cloud computing together? So somebody already answered it. When you are using AI or machine learning, you need a huge amount of data. Where to store the data? You need a storage. So you need storage for that. And then to process the data, this simple computer may not work, like this computer may not work. You need huge computer with GPUs, graphical processing unit. So you don't need to purchase those computers. Meaning, cloud computing can help you to configure the storage to go for the hardware like CPU and GPU without being purchased. Anyone who knows, how many of you are using ChatGPT? Yeah, most of you. What do you think the GPT model that is behind the ChatGPT, how much it cost? It's not open source. You have to pay.
Could you repeat it again?
Okay. Let me repeat my question in different words. If I want to have my own GPT-like model for myself, how much it will cost me? Yeah, but that is once you train the model. Before that, if I want to develop my own GPT, you are right? That's after the model is trained. If I want to have my own GPT model, I need a huge amount of data, and then I need a lot of computation power. So what do you think, how much it will cost me? Yeah, just rough numbers in US dollars. 5 million. Yeah, it will cost you millions of dollars. Why? For what?
Hours or days.
To train that model. So the GPT that you are using, the ChatGPT, behind it is there is an AI model. That AI model cost OpenAI millions of dollars. How? Let me just give you a simple example here. Just do something on the internet. For example, I'm using here like how many A100 GPUs?
100?
A100 GPUs. A100 GPUs were used. These are the
500,000.
25,000, something like that. Yeah, let's yeah. GPUs were used to train GPT model. Right, I'm not sure whether it is going to give me the answer, but it's around 25,000, right? So you see here, the answer is, you can see here probably. 90 days, on 25,000 NVIDIA A100 GPU. And what is the cost of one A100 GPU? So for 90 days, you need around how many? 25,000 A100 GPU. Let's see what is the cost of single one A100 GPU. And let's say Saudi Riyal. So you can see here. This is one GPU. How much? 22,500 something. Multiply this with 25,000.
We can buy used one.
Huh?
We can buy used one.
Yeah, so meaning that AI costs you a lot.
You will be waiting for months to save it.
If you take 25,000 of this, how many time it takes? 90 days. If you reduce this to, let's say, 10,000, then it will go 2 years. So you just run a program and then go and wait for 1 year, right? Or maybe a few years. And then come up here and there is some error. What will happen? Then run it again. Right? So meaning that these AI need lot of hardware, right? And you can purchase, instead of purchasing that hardware, you can go and you can simply use it from the cloud. Because for 90 days, you don't need to invest a huge amount, just as an example. So that's one benefit of the cloud. Then on top of it, cloud providers also provide you different platforms, like Model Studio is provided by Alibaba. I'll show you that in a while. So these kind of platform also help you to use and come up with some solutions or applications in a very easy way. So you don't need to do much. Everything is available off the shelf. You can just go and directly use it. So that's another advantage. Okay, I may skip this one. I think these one are some basic. So what is generative AI? As I mentioned earlier, generative AI, we talked about AI. Generative AI, now you can use computers to generate data. Which kind of data? They can generate images, they can generate audio, they can generate videos. Right? This is known as generative AI. And you may have seen that in the GPT, we use a word, we call it large language model, LLM. So what is that large language model? Generative AI can generate text. So when it's dealing with the text, we call it large language model. But generative AI can also generate videos, right? So only when it comes to the text data, we call it large language model. And why we call it large language models? Because this model is trained on millions of words, or you can say millions of books. Okay, by the way, one single person, how many books a single person on the average can use in the entire life, can read in the entire life? How many books a single person on the average can read in the entire life?
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah, around 750 to 1,000 maybe. That's the capability of the humans, right, in general, on the average. But these models, the GPT and the other models like that, they are trained on millions of the books, meaning that they have gone through, they have learned from the millions of the books, right? And then the statistical model is developed based on that. So meaning that we call them large. Large means that they are trained on a huge amount of data. And similarly, we call them the parameters. So I'll not discuss the parameter. This is related to the size of the model and the intelligence of the model. So that's also huge. When we say large language model, so the data is huge and the parameters of the models are huge in general. And those text data for the GPT and other models, they are taken from the website, books, and articles. It is fit here. If it's a human, it can only read 700 to 1,000 books. But for the model, these are millions of books. And millions of website pages and in the articles are fed here. It is trained for the GPT. How many? 25,000 A100 GPUs for 90 days. And then you get the model. And that model, when you ask, it gives something like a human response. So do you have an idea how can we use generative AI in our life? I mentioned about it, right? Large language models are only for the text. But please remember, generative AI is not only related to the text. AI can generate video, audio as well. Any application for you that you can think of for the generative AI?
Study recommendation.
Recommendation, yes.
Education.
Educational purpose, yes. Everybody is using to solve now the
Writing on tweet and Twitter.
yeah, post, exactly. Yeah.
Secretary.
Yeah, as a secretary, you can ask them to write an email for
Even,
you.
for homeworks.
Yeah, people are using for homeworks. That's why now we have different models. We have models for mathematics, we have models for coding, and we have models for many, many things. So these are the ones people can write with this. You can ask, and it will give you writing, so can use for writing purpose. You can also use for the coding. If you want to write some programming code, you can ask the model, and it will give you the code for it. Like for example, Python code, Java code, you can ask, even HTML and all that. So code generation is another example. And similarly, you can also make your own business plan. You give them the idea, and it will generate the business plan for you. Let me give you some demos on Alibaba Cloud, how we can use the cloud. So for Alibaba, we have our own large language model, and we also have visual language models. Interestingly, our models are open source. Somebody mentioned here open source. GPT is not open source. GPT-4 or 5, they are not open source.
But Llama is open source.
Llama is from the Meta. Yes, it's open source. Okay, when we say open source, what does it mean? It means that the code is available. You can go, you can download, and you can tweak that according to your own choice. You can edit it and you can customize it.
Like Linux.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Linux, also it's an open source operating system. Exactly. But it's not for the Windows. Windows, you cannot.
You can't.
You don't give the code.
Or you will take a band from Microsoft.
Exactly.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates will fire. Yeah, exactly. So you are absolutely right. So Alibaba Cloud models are open source. Let me show you some of them. You don't need to pay anything. You can just go and you can use them. They are available on what we call Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a website whereby it's a repository for the models. You can deploy the models. There are a lot of data sets available. So for example, if I want to show you some of them, I can type here, let's say just in the Google, I can say, Quinn, this is the model name from Alibaba, QWEN. We call it Quinn, I think, in Chinese, I don't know, but QWN, all those models are from Alibaba. And if I say Hugging Face, for example, Hugging Face is a website, and then there are spaces. Spaces means they are already deployed there. Sorry? Yeah, it's Hugging Face is a repository for the models, for the data sets, but it also has the option to deploy the model, which means that the models are there and you can interact with them. So the deployment part of the Hugging Face is known as spaces. So that's why I wrote here Quinn Hugging Face spaces. Spaces is where you can go on the Hugging Face to see the deployed model. Let me show you that. So you can see here, there is something like spaces here. If I click on it, I can remove this part simply, and I can say just spaces. Right? So remove this to show you the spaces on the Hugging Face. These are all models, not only from Alibaba, but from Llama and other as well. So you can see a lot of models here. But let me search Alibaba Cloud models, for example. So I type QWN Quinn, and you can see that there are different models available. Some of them are related to the code artifacts. Some of them are related to the mathematics. Some of them are related to the visual language. So maybe I just take one something, maybe this one. This is audio, right? Let me take randomly one. So probably this one. There's interface. Behind this, there's a big model from Alibaba. We have invested a lot of money on it. And you can interact with this like a GPT. For example, let me ask, tell me about Umrah. So it will take this text and it will give it to the model and it will generate the prompt, the answer for you. So you can see here, this is what it says about the Umrah. It's mentioning about the Tawaf, the Sa'i, and all that, Ihram, and everything. Now, we can use it for anything, right, that I showed. We can generate a code from it. For example, I can write that give me a Python code, for example. For, let's say, adding two lists. Think of it like a genius person, right? Sitting there, you ask and it gives the answer. Because it has been trained on many, many books. So let me hit this send button. I think I didn't hit it yet.
I think it's below the first response.
Yeah, let me see here. Let me clear the history so that to remove that confusion. Okay, what it says? Okay, you are here for assistance. So, oh, I didn't ask that. Probably here's the question, right? So, give me Python code for adding two lists. Even if there are spelling mistake, it can correct that. So no problem. So see, it's giving you this code and with multiple methods. So coding is no more an issue. Similarly, let me show you some other model from Alibaba. Yes, please. When you want to use AI, then?
Yes, about my information. And my data will safety or not?
Oh, you are talking about the data, right? So look, this model is not deployed on the Alibaba Cloud. Look, we provide open source model. Open source means like you can also download the code and you can use it. Everybody here can use it. So we spend like lot of money on it, but we provide the code to the people. Now here, this model is not deployed on Alibaba. It is deployed on Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a different organization, or you can say the part of like they provide different models, right? So it's not from Alibaba.
But Alibaba has AI.
So this is our AI. This is our AI deployed here. But if you want to build some good applications, then you can go to Alibaba Cloud and you can use it. I'll show you that next. In that case, what we do, we don't provide, but there is always a history, right? That history will be stored, but that will be visible to you. Let me show you that part also. So this is just like you can use it. If you want to develop your own applications on Alibaba Cloud with these models, what you will have to do, because it's very limited in use here. In that case, what you can do, we can go to Alibaba Cloud Model Studio. Let me show you that. By the way, this is our interface. All the Alibaba Cloud services can be accessed here. This is like the app for the Kareem, right? Think of it. So this is our app for the cloud. But of course, we are not providing cars. We are providing hardware and different sources. We provide more than 250 services. So one of them, to show you, is the Model Studio. Just let me write here the studio, and I can say. Now this is very interesting. It is no or low code. You don't need to write programs here mostly. And if you go to this interface, if you click on the models, these are all the models provided by Alibaba for different purposes. And the beauty of this is that you can create your own chatbots. You can create a lot of different applications here without doing much of the coding. How we can do it? Let me show you first the use case. So for example, you can try it here directly, like the way that I tried the other model, but this is now on the Alibaba Cloud. And you can type something here and it will give you the answers. That's pretty normal thing. But other than this, we have visual models. For example, let me go with this model. In this model, you can also upload an image. So for example, I upload one of my slides here as an image, and I ask, explain this slide to me. So I take the slide image, and I ask the question. There's a slide taken from my own, and it shows that this slide is from Alibaba Cloud Academy. It's read it directly, and it shows you everything. And it explains it in a very nice way. So meaning, yes.
Can I give it a book and make a summary?
Yes, but here, maybe it take one page. If you want to do it, then we have another way. I'll show you. And you can ask many questions on that, not only a summary. You can ask many questions on that. That solution is known as RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Generally, there's a general word for it. So here you see in this model, I can upload something, but the story doesn't end here. Let me show you something like the question he asked. There is an option of what you see is data management. And in the data management, you can upload the document here. You can go and you can upload some documents here. There can be a book, there can be a PDF file, or any document. The formats are shown here. So once you upload it, for example, in my case, I uploaded my CV. This is my old CV here. document form I uploaded it. And once you upload it, it will parse it and it will store it in the database. Then you can use Alibaba Cloud models, large language models, to interact with this document also. So think of it this way. Large language models are like genius with a general knowledge, but they don't know, let's say, about TOEIC Academy. So if you want to incorporate your knowledge of the Academy, you can upload the document here, and then you can ask questions, so it will also consult that document for you. As an example, my CV is here. So if my CV is uploaded, I can simply go, and I don't need to do anything here, not coding, just few clicks. So I can ask now, tell me about Jawad Shah. Now, GPT will, and other models cannot tell you that. But you see, it tells me about myself, that what I did based on my CV, because there's a local knowledge with it. So large language models are general models. They have very good general knowledge. They are not specific. They are not domain specific. If you want to make it domain specific, you have to give them local knowledge. We call it knowledge base. And through that knowledge, local knowledge, you can convert it or make it very, very specific. What can be the application of this? What do you think? What can be an application of this? Yeah, asking about anything. You can upload the documents, so you can talk to your documents now.
But what do you mean applications? Is it interface for your models or what?
Yeah, so what you can do by application, I mean this. On Alibaba Cloud, you can come here for a Model Studio, and this is the app, right? There is something known as a call. If you go to this call option, there is an option of the API. It will give you the code. Using that code, you can interact with this. You can build any application on top of it. Let me give you one example to make it specific. Now, using this idea, what I will do, I will show you now. I created in the morning a chat bot that can talk to your web page, the TOEIC Academy web page. That is an application. So what I did, let me show you that. That will be my last demo. Because we can discuss a lot of things here, but the time is limited, so probably I'll end my session with that. I think this is not on. This is how you can build an easy application, as an example, to answer your question. Now, don't worry about this. This is a standard Python file. How many of you are using Python? Okay, good, very good. So Python is a simple programming language. So can you see here what I have done? This is your Academy website. Right? http://toeic.edu.sa is your Academy website. And I'm using this in this program. When I run it, what it will do? It will go to the TOEIC Academy website, which I have shown. It will pull the text from there. So whatever the text you have, it's scraping, right? It's simply scraping. And where it will put that string, that text, it will go to toeic.txt. There is a file. Let me delete that file first. So this simple script, which is here, is now going to your website. It will read the data, the text from there, and it will store it here. You will see that a file will be generated here with the name toeic.txt. There is a 2, but there will be a new file without 2. Let me run this. No Alibaba Cloud is involved at this time, right? It's a simple thing. So you see that is created here. So it says read this from that page. I can put multiple pages, but just for the demo, I put one page. Is it clear? So I took the data from your website. Why? Because I want to take this data and use Alibaba Cloud large language model. Large language model are intelligent but general purpose. I want to make it specific to TOEIC Academy. So this knowledge is taken now from your web page. And let me run another program. This program is now using the text file that is generated, and along with that, it is using Alibaba Cloud model from the Model Studio. Don't worry about this code. Alibaba Cloud will give you this code, right, directly. So with a very few modifications, you can do it. But let me run this first. When I run it now, you can see here that is going to give me the link for the application. So this is the application that is now running on the Model Studio. It has a large language model from Alibaba and the knowledge from the طويق Academy website. And I can ask them to tell me about, maybe I just say طويق Academy because my spellings are not good. So I'll say just here and ask the question.
So you upload the data most.
Yeah, so this is now a model which knows about the طويق Academy very well. Why? Because it has taken the data from your website. So you can see here, it says that, let me scroll. It says that طويق Academy was formed when? It was formed in August 2019, right? And it offers wide programming offers and then impacts and achievement. Registrations are more than 1.5 million. Graduates more than 27,000. In-person training, partnership, more than 60 organizations. So all your informations are available now. Just within maybe 30 minutes, you can generate this kind of a chatbot for yourself. So if anybody want to know about your academy, they can come and they can ask the questions directly. So for example, let me ask about the how many
AI courses.
programs are being offered. Even if I don't mention طويق Academy, so it knows because I have restricted it to give information on whatever it has restricted. So see, it says that it is a variety of application, boot camp, and all that, and there are over 1,500 boot camp. You can change these words because it's a large language model. So you change the words, no problem, it will understand it still. Just let me ask some more thing. Give me list of boot camps, for example. So when I say boot camps, it will automatically refer to the your academy boot camp. Academy. So you see, this is now taken directly from here. This is one boot camp register open and ends tomorrow. All right. So all the information it is taking and it is showing you here. So this is now an intelligent bot. Yes, please. Any?
Any language, or only use English language.
Okay. You say that if you want to change the language, let's give it a try. Right. Let's give, because usually it depends on what kind of data it has been trained on. So let's ask and ask one more question. Give the answer in Arabic. Arabic, right? Yes, let's see. It's completely now in Arabic. You can read. I don't know which extent it's correct.
But it's a question in Arabic.
Huh?
Let's see.
Yeah, if you can type Arabic here, you are most welcome. You can give it.
Is it gonna fetch the data each time asked, or is it fetching the data?
Okay, I have done a trick here. It depends on how you design your app, right? So what I have done here, and there is nothing special. Believe me, this kind of a chatbot are very easy to be designed. Nothing special here. What I did, this is the crux of this. This is the prompt. You are طويق Academy chatbot, name Mr. Jawad. If you ask who are you, it will say I'm Jawad. Let me ask you that question. Ask that question also. Who are you? It's all about prompt engineering. I restricted it to certain prompt. So you see, when I say who are you, say I'm Jawad, chatbot of the طويق Academy. So
What about if you ask it about something outside?
yeah, let's try that. Let's try that.
Who is Donald Trump?
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about.
I made it in machine learning course.
Yeah. Tell me about Donald Trump. Let's see what it says. I cannot assist you. Why? Because I restricted it. Let me show you. This is all the trick. There is nothing special in this chatbot. The data came from your website. It can be any website. You just run that program. It will scrape the data. There's the local knowledge. And then I ask him, look, you only need to give me information about طويق Academy. And I specifically ask him, if somebody asks you outside طويق Academy, you simply say sorry. This is where I restrict. This is known as system prompt. So through the system prompt, I restricted the knowledge of the model to the طويق Academy.
Is that mean you could design my needs?
Yes.
Add a prompt to that, for example,
Exactly.
functionality type.
Exactly.
I put it in a file and take it from the file, put it in the Alibaba.
Exactly. You take your facts, give me facts. I'll put it in a file. I slightly change it, and within 20 minutes, 20 is more. Maybe within 10 minutes, I will give you a personalized chatbot. People can ask you. People can ask those information related to your data that you give me, and it will answer.
Okay. Could Alibaba analyze figures?
We do have a video model, but it's not, I think, yet available for the public, meaning like for the international market. Because for Alibaba, most of the models usually start with the China first, and then they come to the. But we do have the model where you can upload the image, and then you can ask from the image.
Image could.
Yeah, image, yes. I don't have time, otherwise I would have shown, I have done a demo whereby you can take a photo of the book. Let's say I will take a photo of the book. I'll upload it to Alibaba storage, and it will give me all the information about the author, the publisher, and all that.
But I'm trying another chatbot before 2 months or
Mhm.
more than 2 months. I give them a link on the YouTube or video. They say, oh, we're also we couldn't move outside our
Domain, yeah.
How I interpret it.
Yeah, so basically, designing chatbot, there are security reasons also. You may have to restrict it. Because behind the chatbot, there is a genius person in the form of large language model. It knows about many, many things. It's trained on millions of books. So you have to restrict it for the purpose, for certain purpose.
What about Alibaba?
Yeah, I have to restrict it through the prompt. So you can see here, I restricted it through the prompt also here. That if somebody asks you any question not related to, like we asked about Donald Trump, it says sorry, because I restricted. This is through the system prompt. So there are usually two prompts. One is a system prompt where you can restrict the knowledge of the model to certain area.
I could find restriction here on the Alibaba.
Yeah, let me give you one more example here to maybe to make it a little bit more clear. What I mean to say. Try now. This is a model directly, and let's see how I made this chatbot in a simple way. So if we go here, let's say to this portion and Alibaba, and let's ask something here. There are two prompts, right? One is a system prompt. Can you see here? So I don't put anything, and I ask a question. I say LLMs mean large language models are great in AI. Just I ask this, and I think, yeah. And I execute. So what it says absolutely large language models are very, very good, right? But let me put something here in the prompt for the system. I say, don't be too polite. Use a critical approach and ask the same question. Let me delete this. The same question, right? You see, the answer is totally different. Now it is critical because I asked him to be critical. Before this, it says, for the same question, it says, yes, very great. LLMs are very, very great. But now I ask is, don't be polite. Use a critical approach. So you see, while it is true that LLMs are significant or whatever it is, but These are, the negative points. So through the system prompt, you can restrict, like in my case, I restricted the TOEIC chatbot to only give information regarding TOEIC Academy, not beyond that.
Is it a kind of instructional?
Yes,
Instructional AI?
exactly. So in the generative AI, when you want to use LLM to generate the text, you can control it. So you can ask something, but there is another one which we call system prompt. Through the system prompt, you can control the output, or you can restrict the boundaries of that. This is very helpful in chatbot. Any other question? Any other question?
What is the possibility for integration of AI to my own application to fetch data on my own application? For
Yeah.
output?
That's okay. All you need is to develop some application like here. You need to come up with a code. So for example, if let's say you have a book and you want to read, let's say, assuming I want to take my mobile and capture some text and want to pass it to the LLM, the procedure will be the same, but I have to develop the application for it. Because cloud providers provide you the tools, the applications you have to develop, because people are developing thousands and millions of applications. So you can develop any application as long as it is related to your business, you can do that. Like, let me give you some example. People are now using this visual language models where they upload the photo. Let's say the insurance companies, they are getting thousands of invoices from different banks. So instead of reading the data from the invoices in the hard form, you can take the images, upload it, and it will read the data. It will generate a file for you. I have one example for it, but due to shortage of time, I cannot run that. So all those applications are doable. Any other question? Okay, so I think I may conclude the session. We have just 3 minutes left. We can talk about it, maybe because this is a big area. I'm also like a student in this area, but I think we can talk a lot about it. But for this session, maybe we conclude here. So the conclusion is that I showed you what is cloud computing. In simple word, cloud computing is buying or renting resources on the internet. Why it is needed? Because the hardware, for hardware, you don't need to purchase it. It's a utility. You use it and you pay for that. AI need a lot of resources, like compute power and storage. Cloud is very important in that case. You can use the storage, you can use the resources just for the training or just for inference. Then the second application that I showed you is that cloud providers provide you a lot of tools. Like I showed you Model Studio. We have a lot of different models available that can accept images or text at the moment. And then you can generate, you can develop your own application with low code. Low code means like minimum code. So I showed you the demo of the chatbot where it took the data from the TOEIC Academy website, and then it can give you all the information on that. And you can ask in language, simple language, right? My answer, my question should be different than other, but there is a LLM, large language model. It will interpret it, and it will take the local knowledge and give it to you. And then system prompt, there are two prompts. User prompt. User prompt means the text that you give to the model, asking the model, right? So the text that you ask the model to tell you something. That is the user prompt, but you also have the system prompt where you can control the behavior. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.